welcome. Is my mic up? Is my mic up? Let me turn me up some. Let me turn me up some. Turn me up some. What's going on, y'all? We back. We back talking sports. We back. We live. Got a good show for you guys. So if you're here, make yourself comfortable. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me good. And if you're not in the chat yet, that's cool too. But I can see from my angle that everything looks good. Let me get a few things situated and then I'll get started with the show. Make sure my display doesn't go off. There we go. All right. All right. Here we go. Hope everybody. Hold on. Make sure I'm turned down here. All right. Here we go. Welcome to another edition of Coffee Break Sports. I am your sports barista, Rod the Magnificent, back with another episode. Got a lot of topics today. Lots of topics. Back is itching too, but it's cool. But before we get into this episode, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications so you can get notified every time I drop a new video or go live like I'm doing right now. And boy, I am so excited about this episode. You know why? Because as you can see from the topics that I have here that we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk some Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, welcome. We're going to talk Bulls too, a little bit of NBA, and we're also going to talk World Series reaction. And I got something new for you guys. I'm carrying this over from an old podcast that I did a few years back. And I want to carry it over to this platform. And I want to call it the CBS Awards, the Coffee Break Sports Awards, where I'll be handing out weekly awards. And you'll see who I'm going to be giving awards to. So stay tuned for that. But let's get right into what we are here for. And that is to talk about the Chicago Bears. And the Bears and the Bengals played over the week. The Bears come out on top 47-42. Had a lot of friends go to that game. I was actually aiming to go to that game in person, but just some things didn't really fall into place with the date. I had other priorities that I had to attend to, so I couldn't attend that game in person. But man, I wish I could have been there for that one. Boy, what an exciting finish. You had the Bears, who was up, actually technically should have been up by 20, but a touchdown was removed after a pick six by Tremaine Edmonds. And the next thing you know, the Bengals were in close enough striking distance to force a competitive game on the Bears. And what happened, you've seen the story. You guys have seen it by now. You know what happened. The Bengals took the lead, 42-41, and then the Bears only had 50 seconds to either kick a game-winning field goal or score a game-winning touchdown. And lo and behold, this happened.
Plays and get your field goal unit on the field if this ball is completed or the clock is running. Williams slings it. Williams. Loveland. Bangs off his man. He's going to score. Oh, my. Colston Loveland in a jaw dropper. 58 yards on the catch and run from the rookie.
And there you have it. Hopefully you guys saw that pretty good there. There's a little lag there. But hey, big victory for the Chicago Bears, pulling off that game-winning touchdown pass thrown by Caleb Williams to Colston Loveland. Shout out to Tip Neal, big fan of the show. What's going on, Tip? Welcome to Coffee Break Sports Live. And man, I'm sure you, oh yes, that game was everything. I agree. When I was sitting there when the Bears, you know, they gave up the onside kick, and I'm sitting there like, man, this team just knows how to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory. I mean, how long, Chicago Bears, are you going to constantly put me through this? Why can't you guys just win a game easily without having to worry about choking up a lead? And lo and behold, Caleb Williams throws a dart to Colston Loveland, as you saw in that video, and he took off for the touchdown, and I was screaming out the top of my lungs. I was actually going to go live Monday, but my voice wasn't back. So I was like, you know what, let me wait until Wednesday, wait until hump day to talk about this. But what a win for the Chicago Bears over the Bengals, and now they are 5-3. Ladies and gentlemen, they are 5-3. They're in third place in the NFC North. And what makes things even more interesting is that the Green Bay Packers lost. So they lost their second game of the season. And we have the Giants coming up, which, I mean, you know, we don't want to look past the Giants. They're not a good team, but these are the games that the Bears are supposed to win. You win this game, you're 6-3. The Green Bay Packers have the Eagles coming to town this weekend. So the Packers could easily lose that game. And the next thing you know, we are going to be part of a division race, a division winning race between us, the Lions, the Packers, and I'm going to still include the Minnesota Vikings. They had a big win against the Lions over the weekend. I got to give Minnesota credit. Got to take my hats off to J.J. McCarthy. They came through. All right. So this is going to be a tight race. I can't wait to see the finish. But the Bears, huge win. Huge win. And as we look ahead at the Bears schedule, I'm going to pull it up here on my tablet here. My old trusted tablet. And looking at the games ahead, you have the Giants at home, and then you have the Minnesota Vikings, which now that game gets more interesting because, you know, even though it looked like the Vikings were dead in the water, right? And they shock the Lions, and they beat the Lions on the road. So now you have the Minnesota Vikings at home against a Bears team that might be coming off a win against the Giants, right? Now, the Minnesota Vikings, looking at their schedule and who they play next, they play the Baltimore Ravens at home. Now, that's going to be a tough game for them. So, if they lose that game, now they're going to be coming, the Bears are going to be coming to Minnesota against a Minnesota team that's going to be playing desperate because they're trying to stay in the race. So, if the Bears beat the Giants, Minnesota lose to Baltimore, now you have a big game because after that, the Vikings have a very tough schedule coming up to finish the season. They have Green Bay on the road. They have Seattle, who's been lights out. I mean, Seattle's been a sleeper team this year. You have Seattle. Then you have a couple of cupcake games. You got the Washington Commanders, who's without Jaden Daniels for probably the rest of the season. You have the Dallas Cowboys, who are a mess. You got the Giants. They are a mess. And then you got Detroit, who's going to be looking for revenge for that game. And then you finish the season off against Green Bay. So Minnesota has a chance to stay in the mix. There's some winnable games there. But looking at the Chicago Bears, like I said, they have Minnesota coming up. You have a Pittsburgh team that's beatable. Aaron Rodgers is going to be possibly making his last appearance in Soldier Field for that one. And hopefully we can give him make his last trip to Chicago a Bears victory instead of Aaron Rodgers talking about he's still on us, because he doesn't, right? And then you have the actually, I skipped the game. No, I didn't. We have Philadelphia after that on Black Friday. That's a Black Friday game on the road against Philly. Philly's beatable, okay? They're not the same Philly team from last year. They got some issues. So I can possibly see them grinding out a win there. Then they go to Green Bay, and that'll be the first time we play Green Bay this year in December. And then Cleveland at home. Green Bay comes here to Chicago. Then we go off to San Francisco, which for some reason we just can never beat the 49ers for as long as I've been on earth. And then you have the Detroit Lions, who, to close things out, might be a big game at the end of the year in Soldier Field. A perfect time for Ben Johnson to get revenge on his old team, especially after what happened earlier this year. So things are looking up and up for the Chicago Bears. I feel good about them. Let's see what happens. Caleb Williams, shut up all the haters. Again, shut up all the haters. You know, I didn't have time to record last week because I had some other priorities going on. But my take from that game against Baltimore with Caleb was it's a part of the process. He's a young quarterback in a new offense. It's a part of the process. He's going to have games like this. We're not in Chicago. We're not used to seeing quarterback development. We're used to seeing quarterbacks just get slapped in and expected to make miracles. That's not going to happen. We're seeing a quarterback in training. He's gonna go to some bad habits at times, and that's what comes with the territory with a young quarterback. But as long as we're getting wins in the process, along with his development, things are on the up and up. And they're scoring 47 points, and the team is not there yet. They're averaging over 25 points a game this season, ladies and gentlemen. The Bears. Since when have we ever said that about a Bears offense? I can't remember. I can't remember. So there you have it. I think we are headed in the right direction. Caleb Williams looks good. All the Caleb haters have ceased to talk. They were loud and kicking last week. I mean, all the Caleb hater channels on YouTube, they were up. They were ready to just kick dirt all over Caleb Williams. I haven't seen a peep out of the haters this week. They are mighty quiet. They're mighty quiet. And big time shout out to, I just want to definitely take this time out to shout out some standout players from the game yesterday. And as we, let me fix that there. I'm our first start there. Boom. There we go. So what we have here is, again, wow finish, Coastin Loveland. Shout out to the rookie tight end where, again, the the Bears are finally utilizing in the offense, and big time breaking of tackles at the end. I know Cincinnati fans are just really fed up with the Cincinnati's defense, but not our problem there. And then shout out to this man right here, Cal Monungai. And I know the the picture looks a little distorted there as far as his helmet, but honestly, I think his C is coming off. That's not the camera. That's a C. The C is coming off his helmet. Yeah. That just shows you they couldn't take this man down. I mean, he was just breaking tackles. They tried to take the C off, and they couldn't take this man down. Okay, Cal Monungai, shout out to you. Hey, DeAndre Swift, I wouldn't say you got to worry about your job. I think what the Bears need to do once he gets back from his injury is to utilize both of them, and this will help open up the play action pass for Caleb Williams. It'll make things a lot easier for Caleb. But Cal Monungai, shout out to this dude right here. He put on a show. And then last but not least, again, we got Coastin Loveland. But last but not least, big shout out again to Caleb Williams. I mean, what a game for this man right here. A way to bounce back despite all the criticism of his play against Baltimore. He was able to stick his nose in there. He even caught a touchdown pass, which was great. He caught a couple of passes. Caught one from Tyson Bagent. And so he was great, man. He was great. Great game. He's responsible, heavily responsible for that win on Sunday. So big shout out to the Chicago Bears, and can't wait to see what they do against the Giants coming up this Sunday. And now we're going to move on to our next topic. And that's going to be my Chicago Bulls, or our Chicago Bulls. Real quick, I'm going to read this comment from Tip. We got NFL got to do better with these helmets. Yes, they do. I did see that, Tip. The Cardinals stripe had came off in the Cowboys game. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, NFL, y'all make all this money. Y'all making all this Taylor Swift money, and y'all can't afford to get these guys some decent uniforms, man. What's wrong with y'all? Do better, NFL. Do better. But yeah, next topic here, we got the Chicago Bulls, and they came off a huge win last night against the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm telling you, these Chicago teams have been giving me a heart attack, and if you want to know why, here's why.
Steps up again. The grizzled veteran steps up and hits the biggest shot of the season. Oh my goodness. Elizabeth. I'm coming again, Elizabeth. Oh Lord. It's the big one, Elizabeth. The cardiac Bulls.
Yeah, that's it right there. That was a great shot by Vucevic. And again, I've been hard on Vucevic his whole time here in Chicago. But boy, is he having a really good season. Sorry for the lag on the video too. My apologies. But man, what a game by the Chicago Bulls, coming back from 24 points down to pull off the victory against the 76ers. And man, as I pull up these notes here, going to the NBA, we got the Bulls. Ladies and gentlemen, standing at 6-1 to start off the season. Josh Giddey with 2 back-to-back triple-double games. First guy to do that in a Bulls uniform since the great Michael Jordan, the GOAT, Michael Jordan. And then again, Vucevic, 19 points, a big three, 19 and 10, does what he does. Buzelis, my boy Buzelis, he struggled a little bit, but he had some big plays defensively. He was a plus 9. Okoro has been an excellent addition to the Bulls. I questioned that move when it happened, when they traded him for Lonzo Ball, but he has been a pistol for this offense. I mean, he has been electrifying. And then, again, the bench mob just coming through, and no matter who steps up, they are stepping up. And they did this without Ayo DeSumo, ladies and gentlemen. So, man, my Bulls, are they for real? And that's the question that you see up here. Are they for real? I think they are. In a weak Eastern Conference with a couple of teams that I thought were going to be good, like the Magic, they're not that good this year. Now, the other teams that are not quite as good, like the Atlanta Hawks, now teams like the Bulls, they kind of stand out. They stick out like a sore thumb. If we look at what's going on right now, the Bulls are in first place. The Philadelphia 76ers, they're a legit team. They're in second place. The Detroit Pistons shook out of their rut. They're playing a lot better. The Milwaukee Bucks playing good. Miami's surprisingly playing good basketball. We lost to the Knicks, but we beat the Knicks when it counted with the cup. And I said this. I think the Bulls are good enough to win the cup, the in-season cup. All right, that in-season tournament, whatever. I think they're good enough to win that. Okay, and I think they're good enough to make the playoffs. I think they are for real. I love the style of play that they're playing. They're running the up and down the court. They're running teams off the court. at times, but in this case, they had to catch up with Philly. Philly was a team that's got a nice combination of young and veteran talent, and they were running up and down the floor too. And I really thought this game was going to be over, and I turned it back on, and I'm like, oh snap, the Bulls are coming back. So the Bulls pulled off a huge win. Thank you to another Chicago team that was very close to giving me another heart attack. So big time shout out to the Chicago Bulls. And man, I gotta say, man, when it comes to the Bulls, right, you got a team that they have really, really good chemistry, and that's what I'm impressed with. When you think about it, Giddey, Buzelis, and Vucevic, yes, they look like the Naperville Bulls and not the Chicago Bulls, but they play great team basketball. There's no standout superstar, and that's another thing I like. It's not centered around one player, and that's how I felt. The reason why OKC won the championship last year, yes, they had the MVP and SGA, but I feel like OKC plays more as a team, and SGA does his thing. Yep, they do their thing, and when the times come when they need SGA to pull off a big shot, they'll go to him when they need him. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to the Chicago Bulls team. A big shout out to all of these guys. I think they're giving us some very entertaining games to watch, and I hope they keep it up throughout the season. And now we're going to go to our next topic. Real briefly, I wanted to touch on the World Series. I don't know if you guys saw the World Series. I didn't watch the whole World Series. I watched a few games here and there, but I did catch Game 7. And I must say, it was definitely one of the most craziest baseball games I've seen since, I would say, the Cubs winning in 2016. It was insane. It was insane. Like, watching that whole situation at the plate where, and I forgot to pull up the picture. I forgot to add the picture here before the show, but I'm sure you saw it. The close play at the plate where Will Smith tagged out the guy sliding from the Toronto Blue Jays, and how close he was to winning that World Series. Yes, Tip, craziness. It was craziness. And man, shout out to the Blue Jays. First of all, they gave me some very entertaining baseball to watch. Okay, very entertaining baseball to watch. And shout out to the Dodgers, who become the first team to go, I guess, back to back since the New York Yankees, if I'm not mistaken. So it's hard to go back to back in baseball, and Los Angeles was able to do it. I thought the Blue Jays played a better series than the Dodgers, but the Dodgers just made the right plays at the right time. And I know a lot of people are going to point to Game 6 when the ball got stuck, and those runs didn't count for the Blue Jays, but that's the rule. That's the rule. Being a Cubs fan, I mean, the Cubs, the ball gets stuck in the ivy, it's a ground rule double. I mean, that happens. And so it's the same thing. If the ball gets stuck anywhere on the field in play where the player can't grab the ball while the ball is rolling, it's considered a ground rule double. And if he would have touched the ball, even though it was stuck, those runs would have counted. So smart play by that particular player. And also shout out to Pages for, yeah, he was right. It's right. Exactly, Tip. He was right for not touching the ball. If he would have touched the ball, he would have been the GOAT. He would have been, and not in a good way. The Los Angeles fans would be blaming him up the wazoo as to why they didn't repeat. And so here you got, Game 7, Ohtani started, didn't pitch his best, but he was coming off 3 or 4 days rest, which was not good for him because usually he takes longer breaks. And so, shout out to him for even trying. But Yoshi was a beast again for them, playing a small role in the bullpen. And I'm telling you, this team is, They had it together. They had it together. I mean, they made this series very exciting to watch. The Blue Jays. Shout out to Vladdy Guerrero Jr. I'm actually sad that this World Series is over because, you know, watching Vlad, I think Vlad is one of the funniest dudes to watch in baseball, and especially the post-game show. If you watch the post-game show with Big Papi and Derek Jeter and A-Rod, and you see Big Papi talking about some Yankees lose, you know, and him and Vlad are going back and forth and making fun of Derek Jeter and making fun of A-Rod. I'm gonna miss that. That was must-see TV. That post-game show, I'm telling you, they're gaining contraction on the inside the NBA crew, but they're pretty good. They're funny. Shout out to my man Big Papi, and also shout out to the Dodgers for putting on a good performance, good enough performance to win their second title. The Blue Jays, you guys will be back. Hopefully everything works out well. I think the Blue Jays need stronger starting pitching. If they can get stronger starting pitching to go along with that hitting, because they got the hitting down packed. They can hit any pitching staff. They showed that. But if they get a couple of more really solid starters, I think they could come back to the World Series and possibly win it. And last but not least, to close out my show, I only got a few minutes left, so I want to give out some awards. This is something new that I'm doing here on Coffee Break Sports. I used to be on an old podcast called Magnificent Vibes, and what we used to do is we used to talk sports on there, and then at the end of the show we would give out awards. So I'm gonna call this the CBS Awards for the week, and I think you are going to like the spin that I put on some of these awards. So I'm going to actually hold on one second. Let's see here. I'm going to get right into it. So let me just get started with my awards. Let me pull up my awards. All right. Pull up my awards. So the first award is called the Essence of Otis Award. And what do I mean by the Essence of Otis Award? Well, for those who are fans of the Temptations movie, Otis and David Ruffin got into a heated debate about the group and the name of the group. And Otis said he thinks that the Temptations should be named Otis. Not Otis, but be named David Ruffin and the Temptations. And Otis basically said, we are the Temptations. All right. They came to see the Temptations. They didn't. And the next thing you know, David Ruffin said exactly what Tip typed in the comment section. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. All right. So the Ain't Nobody Coming to See You award goes to LeBron James. And why did I say LeBron James? And I got Luka Doncic here, right? Well, a lot of people said at the beginning of the season that the Lakers were dead in the water because LeBron James got sciatica. He's getting old, and he wants to show the Lakers that they're nothing without him, right? Because they didn't give him a contract extension and all of this other stuff, despite the fact that the Lakers drafted his son. And his son is still not good, right? Well, here you have Luka Doncic and my boy Austin Reeves with the takeover. And as we speak, the Lakers are 6-2 without LeBron James. All right. So as much as you would like to spill, no matter how much you like to shake it, LeBron James, the Lakers do not need you. You're old. Retire, please. We're done seeing you. We don't want to see you anymore. Nobody is coming to see you, including the Lakers. All right. The Lakers are absolutely fine without you, as you can see. And you were holding the Lakers back, if anything, from showing their real talent. Rui Hachimura is playing well. DeAndre Ayton is playing well, better at least. So LeBron ain't nobody coming to see you, man. So you're gonna take this award here. Up next, I have a Cuddy Award, and for those who are familiar with Cuddy, and boy, am I telling on myself, but there was an old movie back in the 90s called Dead Presidents. And Cuddy was a self-proclaimed, and he was cheating with the main character's baby mama. And there was an infamous scene where the main character was bringing home groceries, and he got into a heated altercation with Cuddy, and Cuddy punched him down a flight of stairs. So the Cuddy Award of the team that got punched down a flight of stairs goes to none other than the Green Bay Packers for losing to the Carolina Panthers. Take this Cuddy Award up. Look at his face. Look at Jordan Love's face. Oh, man. Shout out to the Panthers for pulling off that miracle win over the Green Bay Packers in front of their home fans. In front of their home fans. Take that. Take that, Santa Claus. Bringing in the groceries, huh? The Panthers said, bringing in the groceries. I remember when we was married, we used to love bringing in the groceries. and Jordan Love's like, stay away from my team. And Panthers like, what you say? Huh? He said, you heard what I said. The next thing you know, bloop, right down the stairs, right down the flight of stairs. So shout out to the Panthers for winning a Cuddy Award over the Green Bay Packers, knocking the Packers down a flight of stairs. My next award goes to the name of this award is called You Played Yourself. Nothing, no movies, involved with this one. But the You Played Yourself award goes to none other than this guy right here, John Morant. Let's talk about John Morant for a little bit. Dude, you're from the suburbs. You're from the suburbs. You're from Naperville, Schaumburg, wherever you came from. You ain't tough, bro. Come on, man. And I blame his dad. Because his dad is too busy being his friend and not his father. Ja, get your act together, man. You had the NBA at the palm of your hands. And all you want to do with the palm of your hands is hold guns, throw grenades while you're shooting threes, and sit there and act like you're bigger than the team. The Memphis Grizzlies have been trash because of you. They broke up that really nice squad y'all had a few years ago because you took a grenade and blew it all up, got your coach fired. And now all of a sudden you want to throw a hissy fit because the coach won't put you back in the game because you was playing like trash. John Morant, get it together, dude. Get it together. You played yourself. Take this award. Up next, we got the Milk Carton Award, which means, players. I give this to players who have been missing in action. And this is not going to a particular player. And it's not going to Michael Jordan. So don't think I'm giving this award to Michael Jordan, the Milk Carton Award to Michael Jordan. I'm giving the Milk Carton Award to NBC for not giving us another Michael Jordan interview this week. Come on now. Y'all got to keep them rolling. Every week, I want to see a Michael Jordan 3-minute interview. That's a 2-hour interview y'all did with him. I want to see this every week. I was a little disappointed that you guys didn't feature Michael Jordan this week. So you guys, NBC, y'all get the Milk Carton Award. And last but not least is, John Morant, whatever. It's a Shame Award goes to the Blue Jays, the Toronto Blue Jays. If you've watched Above the Rim, there was a scene with Flip, and and Tupac famously said, "It's a shame what happened to Flip." And so this is what I'm going to do with this last award. It's a shame what happened to the Blue Jays. It's a shame what happened to Vladimir Guerrero for losing the World Series. Hey, go get them next year, man. Go get them next year. I think you guys really deserved to win that World Series, but unfortunately, you guys didn't. So, great year for the Toronto Blue Jays, and hopefully we'll be able to see them again next year in the World Series, possibly against my Cubs. We'll see what happens. Hey, Will Smith, yo, since you won 6 straight World Series with 6 different teams, hey, come on over to Chicago. So we can win a World Series or something. You know what I mean? It's something in the Will Smith magic there that's getting all of these World Series championships. So big time shout out. Those are my awards, and I'm sticking to them. And that is it. That will do it for this show, Coffee Break Sports. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to Tip for being in here with me, chatting it up, chatting these sports topics. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I will see you guys on the next episode. I'll probably be doing a separate episode of my NFL weekly picks this week. So stay tuned for that episode as well. I won't be doing a live. It'll be pre-recorded and edited up and all that good stuff. So thank you for choosing Coffee Break Sports. I'll also be dropping a new Coffee and Beats episode soon. So stay tuned for that. But until then, when it comes to coffee, when it comes to sports, stay grounded for life. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.